Welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in, and really appreciate the fact that you are actually, tuning into this channel and helping us to grow as a channel. And with your support, the channel is growing. We're almost approaching 2,000 subscribers. And if you can please continue to like the videos, comment and leave your comments there, but be kind with your comments as well. In today's topic, I'm just gonna talk a little bit about importance of appropriate language when engaging with children and families. Why is it important for us to be using appropriate language when engaging children and families? So first and foremost, I just want to obviously mention about the fact that when we're engaging children and families, sometimes we need to be mindful of the fact that sometimes they've gone through so much trauma, and this trauma is not only about the children who have gone through trauma, but also the parents themselves. They may have also gone through trauma. So it's about acknowledging that bit about their background. That will also help you understand exactly what might be going on. And when you talk about using appropriate language, you need to be using language that will actually help you to be engaging them better. And when you engage them better, they are better able to engage with the support service that you are envisaging for them to be engaging with. So it's important for you to be mindful about that as well. So, using appropriate language when engaging with children and families is quite essential in the sense that it helps you, one, to build the rapport, and also promotes your understanding of this family. It also ensures that it also ensures their emotional and psychological well-being is actually taken into account in terms of the engagement that you're having with them. Right. So why do we say language matter? Why is it important that language matters to engage with children and families? One, when it comes to about children, especially, it's important for you to know, even family, even the parents as well. It's important for you to know that language matters because it helps you to build trust and rapport. I'm not going to emphasize much about building trust and rapport because you will understand that without trust and rapport, it will be difficult for you to be engaging that family, and it will be difficult for you to actually know exactly what's going on there because they're not going to open up about anything. They're not going to tell you even when they're in distress because they will feel to be judged and they will feel that you are not there to listen to them. But if you show them that you are there to listen, you are there to support them, then it helps you. It actually helps you to build that trust and rapport as well. It's important to also take note of the fact that children are more likely to open up when they feel safe, acknowledged, understood, and appreciated. And you being simply able to be respectful and to use age-appropriate language shows the children that their voice matters. It shows them that you're actually valuing them. Point number two, I spoke about it promoting understanding. What I mean by that is that children process information differently from us as adults. So if you use language that they do understand, they will be able to process that information much faster than you would expect actually. And if you use clear jargon-free language, it helps them to understand what's happening around them and what they need to be doing and what they need to be mindful when it comes to safety planning, for example. And then it also supports their emotional safety, including the parents as well, because if you use jargon-free language and avoiding, harsh words, for example, judgmental words, and sometimes dismissive language, because what it does is it reduces the risk of emotional harm, not only on the children, but also the resistance that you might actually get from the parents is actually reduced because you are able to communicate with them freely and openly and being able to articulate what it is that's going on as well. And it's important for you to be validating the child's feelings as well, making sure that your language helps them to build that emotional resilience or that emotional intelligence that you would want to see in the children as well. It also encourages their purposeful expression of feelings, because when children feel safe and they feel not to be judged, they are more likely to express their thoughts freely, their feelings freely, and they're able to express what it is that's going on with them, and they're also able to express with you their fears of what could be happening, and then that way you are able to actually plan and tell exactly how you can manage those thoughts as well as those behaviors. This is critically important when it comes to obviously safeguarding or in therapeutic context. So you need to be mindful about that. So if you model respect and humility and empathy in the way you engage them, you're actually showing them the kind of behavior you would want to see them, because they are able to learn from you. Uh, and the way adults sometimes speak to children teaches them how to interact with others. So if you speak to them in a derogatory way or in a way to demean them, then that's what they are learning from you. That's what they will also project to others, not only to you, but to others as well. So it's important for you to know that as well. And knowing that obviously respectful communication also brings mutual respect at the end of the day. And the tone for positive relationships is actually enhanced when it comes to, your interaction with them. And it's important for you to know that using appropriate language doesn't take a lot, really. What does it take? I'm just going to give you a few tips. You need to use simple words. Tailor your language in such a way that the child's age and development level meets the language that you're actually using. And you need to be avoiding professional jargon, because they don't know that professional jargon that you're using, including the parents as well. They don't know even the complex terms that you may be using in your profession. They don't know them. So it's about breaking them down for them to actually understand what you mean by them. Sometimes even children, they just hear parents saying, oh, he's got ADHD. They don't even understand what ADHD is. So it's about you breaking it down to them to actually understand what it is, so that they understand it at that level as well. You need to be honest, but also you need to be gentle. You also need to give reassurances. You also need to avoid blame. You also need to use the child's name. This is really important, because the moment you don't use the child's name, they can tell that you're actually not individualizing them. And personalizing, it actually personalizes the interaction that you're having with them. And it also helps to you to build that connection that you need between yourself as a practitioner with that particular child. Rather than, oh, sorry, every minute you're like, oh, sorry, I forgot your name. What's your name again? I know you've got 30, 40 children, but make a conscious effort to be mindful of, being able to articulate or being able to say what their name and use that name when you are having conversations with them. Even if it means it helps you to write their name on a notebook, so that whenever you are chatting with them, you're actually reminding yourself what their name is, if it's going to be your first time to see them. But I'm sure you all know that when you obviously see them for the first time, and after that, you will actually know them by name, and it should be second nature for you to be doing that. You also need to be reflecting and validate their feelings when they express to you that they are feeling this way. And sometimes you can also, use some phrases that will help them to settle, or some which will actually help them or to allay their fears as such. Well, I can see that you are quite really upset about what's going on. How do you think I can be of help to you at this particular moment, for example? So it's important for you to be mindful about that as well. Moving on to the next section, I'm just gonna talk a little bit about key principles in terms of using appropriate language. You need to be focused on the perpetrator's responsibility. Avoid language that implies that the child is at fault. For example, you're talking about child sexual exploitation or child criminal exploitation. You need to be avoiding language that implies that, or that will make the child feel that you're actually blaming them for what has happened. But you need to be focusing on the perpetrator who is responsible for what they've done on this particular child. And you need to be using trauma-informed language, acknowledging the impact of trauma on what they are going through or on the child's behavior, and also on their responses as well. And you need to be reflecting on safeguarding language, making sure that your language aligns with child protection and safeguarding policies, and you don't use that blame game, putting themselves at risk. Sometimes, how would you expect a 5-year-old to put themselves at risk? Because they may not even be conscious of what it is that they are doing, which you, in your capacity or in your mind, you think they are putting themselves at risk. So it's really, really important for you to be mindful of that. So with those few nuggets, I hope I've helped you. It's just going to be a short video, 8 or 9 minute video, just to break it down exactly the things that you need to be mindful about when it comes to actually engaging families. The last thing I'm just gonna talk about a little bit. Let me just go back to my notes here. Is just to give you a few pointers or a few examples of some inappropriate language, which sometimes people end up using, and give you an alternative of what you think what you may also use. For example, number one, sometimes people may say, "Oh, why didn't you protect your child?" That is if you are talking to the mother, or that is if you are talking to the father, rather than say, "Oh, can you help me understand what was happening for you at the time when all this was going on, and how what support you had at that particular time." Or point number two, it will be like the inappropriate language might say, "Oh, you failed to attend the appointment again." You can understand how it makes the parent feel when you say it that way, other than for you to be saying, "Oh, I noticed that you were actually not able to attend your appointment with the GP or with the midwife today. Is there something that made it difficult for you to be attending your appointment? And how can I make it easier for you going forward?" That actually translates to a situation where you're acknowledging that they haven't attended the appointment, but you're also trying to find out what it is that has happened, and how you can actually help them to be able to attend the appointment next time, rather than you fail to attend the appointment again. It just demotivates them, and it just puts that barrier where they don't even want to see you. They might just see you, but they might be cursing in their mind, or cursing, in their breath, to you, towards you, in that particular time. The other phrase, or the other statement that people sometimes like to use is, "Oh, you let him hit you again in front of the children." You let him hit you again in front of the children, as compared to, "Oh, it sounds like you're actually in a really difficult situation, which could have been frightening for you. How do you think the children might have felt at the time when all this was going on?" You are diverting that conversation from it being about mom and it being about the children. So because you are trying to make it reflect on how this is impacting on the children, rather than make it about her not protecting the children, but it's about him reflecting on how it might actually impact on the children. So that's really important. Sometimes people use the phrase, "Oh, the child is not bonded with the mother." What is the alternative? You can actually think about, "Oh, there appears to be some limited interaction between you and the child. Can you make me understand exactly what is the barrier to that limited interaction? What exactly is going on, and how can I strengthen your relationship with your child?" That helps the parent to actually reflect and be able to look at what's actually happening. Sometimes people like to use the phrase, "Oh, you're not putting your children first." What is the alternative to that? "Oh, there seems to be a lot going on for you at the moment. Can we explore together how we can support you to meet your children's needs?" So in other words, you are empowering them to say, "How do you want us to help you for you to be able to meet your children?" So rather than just accuse and say, "Oh, you're not meeting your children's needs at the moment," or "You're not putting your children first at the moment," for example. Another one would be, the child disclosed abuse. The child shared concerns about her being sexually abused. It sounds different from that, especially when you are writing. You always need to think about how you can put it in a child-friendly manner, or in a trauma-informed language, which avoids jargon, and unless if it is necessary for you to be making use of that particular jargon. The other one is, "Oh, the parent is refusing to work with support services." Okay, the parent the alternative could be, "The parent has expressed concerns about engaging with support services, but we haven't understood yet what those concerns are. We need to explore what these concerns are, and what might be affecting their trust, and how we can work in partnership with the parent." You can also twist this statement to in your conversation with the parent, to actually say, "Oh, I can see that you're actually expressing concerns, or you are finding it difficult to engage with support services. How best can we together explore how it is affecting your trust with the support services, and how we can work together going forward, and how you can best engage with support services," for example. Or the other statement that people like to use is, "The child is attention seeking." What is the alternative to that? You could actually say, "Oh, the child is showing us they need support or connection at this particular moment. Let's think about what their behavior might be communicating to us." Because When you talk about attention seeking, it's because the child is trying to communicate something to us. So let's seek to understand what it is that the child is trying to communicate with us. Or the other statement is, oh, the father is absent in their lives. The father is currently not involved in their day-to-day care. That's the correct term to use. For example, further work may be required, for us to explore his role and the need for engagement going forward. That's how you can actually best express in that particular scenario. The last one is, oh, the mother is being difficult. Okay, what does that mean? The mother appears to be under significant stress and may benefit from more support to express her views and engage with the child protection process. That's how you can word it nicely, so that even when the parent reads, they are not defensive. They don't take that stance of, oh, why are you saying I'm so difficult? In other words, they feel like you're putting a label to them. You are to actually say you are being difficult, whereas that's not the situation. So it's about exploring those barriers which are there to hinder the parents from actually engaging better with support services. With those few nuggets, I hope you have learned something, and I will put also in the description so that you can actually read through and learn from that. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that when I post, you'll be the first person to know. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.